Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Jake Kelly, starring George Clooney and Adam Sandler, about a movie star and his troubles. Smash the like and subscribe. Thank you for smash the liking and subscribing. Check out my books. The links are in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 18, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. I could have sworn I did this movie already, but I guess I didn't. So, this is yet more Hollywood navel-gazing, as they say, in select theaters in November. Rated R for adult situations. And on Netflix December 5th. Why even go to the movies? Why even go to the movie theater for this? So disconnected, I think Hollywood is. All right, so look at everybody in this movie. A lot of big names, but will it matter? I doubt it. George Clooney, Adam Sandler, Laura Dern, Billy Crudup, Riley Keough, Grace Edwards, Stacy Keach. Haven't seen him in a while. Jim Broadbent, don't know him. Patrick Wilson, Eve Hewson, don't remember her. Greta Gerwig, Ilsa Fisher on the bottom. That's a lot of names. You would think this movie would be like, oh my God, I got to see this movie. I think it will just come and go. I mean, Adam Sandler still has a bit of a following. You know, and he's still a little fun. But this is a serious movie for him, so to speak. I mean, it's not super serious. It's kind of half serious, it's sort of light. But it's about a movie star's life and how disconnected he is from real life. Now, the upside of this is that these guys are movie stars. So doing this movie for them is going to feel incredibly authentic because they're actually telling their real life experience in the business. Adam Sandler plays like his assistant or manager or whatever, and George Clooney is going through an existential crisis because he doesn't feel like he's a real person. He's a commodity. And I'm sure he actually feels that way. So, on that score, I would think the movie would be very genuine and authentic because these guys know that life backwards and forwards. They've both been in it a long time. So I'm very interested in actually seeing the movie to see what their take on it. But of course, there's a huge downside on this. Nobody can relate to their problems. They're worth millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. They fly all over the world. They can snap their fingers, and whatever their problem is, they can have a guy make it disappear. They don't even do it. They have a guy do it. So it's really, 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 really hard, guys, to empathize with these characters. There's just no normal people watching this are just going to be like, oh, yeah, he's got a lot of problems. And like, he doesn't even have that big of a problem in the movie. Like, his daughter's growing up, and he's kind of missed out on her growing up, and he wants to be closer to her, and he kind of can't because, and so he sort of goes off script, travels to Paris, and Adam Sandler's and Laura Dern, who's on his team, are left scrambling to catch up to him. And Laura Dern even says in the trailer, you know, she's annoyed, obviously, at Clooney, but she basically tells Clooney, you know, he's like, oh, this was my idea, you know, to get on a train and go to Paris. And she's just like, well, I'm not allowed to be mad at you, so I have to be mad at your manager. Which again is very true. This is the world they live in, a world in which the movie star is isolated from real life because he has to be relaxed. He's got to perform. He's got to look happy and handsome, And there is a team behind these people who do everything they can to make sure he continues to work and make them money. And you can imagine that it is kind of a sad, lonely existence at times. But as, for instance, me, as a guy who always struggles to make money, I can't imagine being unhappy in that world. I try. I mean, I could kind of get it, but at the same time, I go, you have millions of dollars, dude. Walk away. Walk away if you want more time with your daughter. Walk away if you want a family life and real friends. Take your millions and millions. I mean, these guys have more than enough money to walk away. More than enough. You got $10 million. You're worth $10 million. You know, most of these guys have houses worth that. Multiple houses worth that. You could just sell that house, walk away with just that $10 million. Just that $10 million. You don't have to work. You don't have to work at all. You could spend all your time with your relatives. You could spend so much time with them they're sick of seeing you. You could spend every day writing poetry and walking in the woods and doing charity work, and you could do all that. So it's very, very difficult for people to relate to you that you have that choice. Now, would any normal person take that choice? A few people have, but not many. Most they spend their whole lives getting to this point in their lives, and then they don't know anything else. Right? They don't know anything else. This is their entire lives. Go, go, go. Get the next project. Get the next project. So I would understand, too, if these guys say, no, I can't do that. I would miss this life. I would miss the life of, 1 minute traveling to Milan to promote a movie, the next minute reading a script, and the next minute being on set in Africa for a movie. That sounds exciting. Sounds crazy. So you've been living that life 20, 30 years. I can understand how you'd miss it. But so you're making a movie to try to explain to people your life. I don't think you get real people is the problem. And yeah, this is not the kind of movie we need, really. Again, it's probably going to ring very authentic, so it probably won't do terrible. But this is a real test for Hollywood. All those names I read, are they going to draw any people? The only one I think that draws really any kind of numbers would be Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler's still kind of like a celebrity of the people in his own way. George Clooney hasn't really been in anything lately. Nothing that did any business anyway. The rest, forget. You can just totally write them off, I think. I love Stacy Keach, but I'm an old timer, so. So what is business is this going to do? You're dropping it mid-November. You announce it's going to be on Netflix on December 5th. Why would I go to the theater for this? Why exactly? Oh, well, because you don't have Netflix. I guess. If I didn't have Netflix, I wouldn't go to the theater for this. I'm sure I have somebody I know who has Netflix. I don't even pay for Netflix. So what is the real value of this movie? To me, nothing. You're not charging me for it. It's free content. I'm going to watch it on Netflix, if I watch it at all. And, I'll probably watch. I think I might have to watch this one. This is a Hollywood one that's kind of interest to me. Do I think it's going to be good? Not really. First act, Jake Kelly is in a scene from a movie, perhaps. And, he does this great acting scene, and then they say cut, and you think it's the movie, but it's not. Then he, he's living his amazing life, and his daughter's, going to college or something. So he's feeling like he's missing her. She leaves. He's supposed to do various things because he's very busy and Adam Sandler is his manager, and Laura Dean's in the mix, his agent, I guess. And now he says, my daughter moved to Paris to go to school. I'm going to go to Paris to visit her and hang out with her. And his manager's like, oh, man, dude, we got to do a lot of work, but okay. Like, he can't refuse him, really. He's the movie star. So they go to Paris, and it causes a bit of a stir because he's such a big friggin' legend on the screen. But he's having this crisis where people don't see him for him. You know, everybody loves him because that's the way it's going to go. Everybody loves him. But it's not him. It's the movie him. And he tries to reconnect with his daughter, and she's just like, what are you doing here? She kind of rejects him as a person, he feels. And he kind of can't get past that. What does he do at the end? I think he goes back to being in movies because he doesn't know anything else. That would be the ending I would go with. Could be that he just gives it up, but he has friends in Laura Dern and Adam Sandler. He's known them for years. They built this whole thing up. I doubt he abandons them. But, again, they're all millionaires too. They're all living this fast-paced whirlwind lifestyle with money and food. You could do and buy whatever you want. I imagine that. And so do a lot of people. And you could say, well, it won't make you happy, but it's really tough for us to believe you because we've never had a taste of it. Most people haven't. Most people will never have a taste of you could buy anything you ever wanted. You could erase all debt. You'll never have any debt for the rest of your life. Nobody can relate to a person who has so much money that they need a guy just to keep track of it all. And that's the level they're trying to portray here with Jake Kelly. And I'm not saying they're bad people because of that, but I think it warps them. And I think, just like all creative people, they are looking for a project that they can really, connect with on a creative level. So Clooney is trying to do that, but he's been so rich and so famous for so long, he kind of can't pierce the veil anymore. He can't go back. He can't go work at a supermarket for a couple of months just to see what it's like. Everybody will recognize him. Same with Adam Sandler. They've given up on that. Even if they did it, would they really connect? No, they'd be going home to their mansions every night, even after working at the supermarket. Would they even work a full day? Would they really get it? Would they really reconnect with that? I don't know, man. It's kind of like this. These people become famous at a moment in their life. And they become so rich and they get caught up in that world. And for a while, it's fine creatively because they can always harken back to the time before, right? Adam Sandler, I think he got big in the late 80s, early 90s, right? He was doing stand-up. He was a normal guy, working on SNL, blew up. Eventually kept getting bigger, moved to LA, did a bunch of movies through the 90s and 2000s, became a huge star. But his day-to-day life, like his memory of going to a grocery store or, I don't know, hailing a cab or whatever, he can't do comedy bits based on what that's like now for him. What that's like now for him, he doesn't do that stuff. He has a staff. If he needs a sandwich, either somebody will make it for him or somebody will go buy him the ingredients and make sure when he shows up to his house, they're there. A cab, he doesn't take cabs anymore. He takes limos wherever he goes, I assume. Yeah, he might have a car, might drive once in a while for the hell of it, but even that's a little risky for a guy as big as Sandler or Clooney, right? Somebody sees him in traffic and, gets into a car accident. There's been tons of cases where celebrities get into little fender benders. How much does it cost them? I bet it doesn't cost them nothing. So, on the one hand, I can see how living in the life of this, you're trying to be authentic, but you can't find that authentic world anymore because you just don't live there. And, Sandler did a movie. What the hell was it called? Where he plays like a famous comedian and he's having tons of sex with random women. Like, do you remember the one I'm talking about? God, I can't. It's not Punch Drunk Love. I forget. He's talking to Eminem, like, and he's super famous, and he made that movie. Again, I think it's, a creative guy trying to get to some layer of authenticity. But again, that's just not relatable. So these guys kind of have to rely, unless they go through a lot of trouble, on writers and other people to bring that authenticity to the table and then use that in their movies. And they have to trust in that. Do they always do it? No, because I wouldn't do it either if I were them, right? I'd be a guy like Adam Sandler if I was famous for that long. I have comedy instincts and creative instincts, and they served me well 20, 30 years ago. Now it's 20, 30 years later, I'm still using those same instincts on the same information that's frozen in amber from 20, 30 years ago. They don't work anymore. And when do they give that up? It's hard to say, hard to gauge. They kind of just stumble upon it, I think. And that's why I think a lot of creative people who are known for one thing, they'll veer off in a weird direction, suddenly start, comedians start doing drama. The drama guys trying to do comedy or horror or whatever. It's because they're creatives and they're trying to do something new, trying to do something authentic. So, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be good. My impulse is it'll be very watchable. It'll kind of be fun, but the payoff will be kind of like, why doesn't he just use his money to solve his problems? That's what your audience will say to you. Could a writer fix this? I don't know. Maybe a writer did. Maybe it has an amazing ending. But I think Hollywood, if you're going to do some navel gazing, you really got to look at something like I wrote, Hollywoke, another novel. Because you have to look at the impact your various political activism has had on the industry. That would be super important and authentic. That audience would go, oh, finally, these clowns are finally acknowledging that they've ruined themselves. As opposed to this, which I don't think is going to go down that path. Yeah, that was a crazy rant, huh? Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D. and Little Joan. Going back to my poor life, George Clooney. Check us out on the green site, the orange site, and the black site for more videos. This weekend, Saturday, it's going to be the Collingswood Book Fest. Huge, as Trump would say. That's 10 to 4. I'm supposed to do Hammonween afterwards in Hamilton, but I'm having trouble getting a hold of the guy. I've been told by people who know him that I'm probably in, but I don't know if I'll be in. So I may just pack up my car, go to Hamilton, and see if I can find it. Then on Sunday, I'll be at Zed's Brewery at 2 for a talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil back at Zed's. I like Zed's. All right, that's it for me. We'll see you in the next one.